Going live right here. I want to welcome everybody to the show. This is my first podcast, and right now I'm just messing with the EQ. Gonna turn the volume up a little bit, and let you know what we're gonna be talking about. Right here, we're gonna keep it real, raw, and live. It's all about what. Man, look, I'm a realtor. I'm a person, and there's things that need to be talked about. I'm going to talk about them live and direct. I'm also going to have the guest that I have on here talk and go live and direct. So, man, hey, sit back and enjoy the show. My thing is to make sure that you guys know me. So enjoy the show, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so all right, so I want to go over a couple things. Wanted to let you guys know basically who I am. I am a self-professed professor, real estate broker. Some people say that I'm accomplished. If you read my bio, it says at the right tender age of 13, I already knew what I wanted to do, which I did. I knew I wanted to make an impact on the world. My big thing was how. How am I going to make an impact on the world? Well, I've put in a lot of sacrifice and a lot of time to stay away from those things that would be detrimental to my growth. I grew up in San Francisco, California. Grew up in the hood in a place called Fillmore. And the Fillmore District was a district of the city that was predominantly black, high poverty. I have memories of being there and seeing homeless people across in the empty lots. And those same empty lots is where the Juneteenth would be. So they would clear out those homeless people and clear out those lots and have the festivals where we would come out, ride rides, and have festivities. We would also go over there and catch bees. I remember my big brother, Ivory, he would go over and he would have a jar. And he would have a jar with a glass jar with a top. And those bees, he would catch those bees and put them in there and show them to us. It's real tough guy. Real tough guy. So big up to Ivory. My brother, I also have another brother, Quincy. Big Q. Quincy's he's the quintessential big brother. He always wanted you to listen to him, but he was never popular. And when I say that, he was popular amongst his friends and amongst his people, but he was never popular with you because he always wanted to keep you straight. So big up to Quincy. Quincy was a DJ. He actually helped introduce me to my love for music and want to learn how to scratch. My first mix that I've ever done was a mix called Egyptian Lover. Quincy let me mix Egyptian Lover for the first time. That was a big West Coast hit that predated NWA. Dr. Dre and all them, helped produce that record. So big up to Quince. I got a big sister who's older than Quince, named Yvette Augman, who is the first cousin of the great Stacey Augman, basketball player, Hall of Famer, UNLV. Also played for the Atlanta Hawks But my sister's room was right next to mine, and I can honestly say I got most of my influence, social influence, my temperament, a lot of things from her. One of the things that I remember was that she would play music. She had this boom box. I'll never forget it, the gray boom box with the double tape. But she took care of that boom box, man. But that thing would bump, and you would hear it bumping. Evelyn Champagne King, Keith Sweat, Rick James. Just all these different sounds would come out of there. Come out of the room next door, which actually gave me my musical influence. And then my brother Bill, he and I shared a room. I do remember as we start coming of age that my mom's husband, Charles, he had left. Whatever happened, they split. And I just remember times being a little rough at that time. But me and Bill kind of like rocked it out. So I was writing. By that time, I was writing songs, writing raps, coming home every day, writing raps. I didn't remember too much about school. I just remember that I would go to school. I didn't really like school. I wanted to learn. I always had a drive and a passion for education and learning, but not in a school fashion until later. But I do remember us hooking up, speakers and stuff like that to our room would just bump. And Bill, man, he was just like doing his own thing. My brother Bill, Bill, Wild Bill. Bill was doing his own thing. I kind of never really knew where he was at, but I just knew that he loved me. You know what I'm saying? So, but I would come home every day from school and I would write a rap. So, myself, Trev G from around the way, Benzo from around the way, we would sit down and talk and build, but I would write raps every day. That was really my first love, writing every day. Then from there, it was Bill, me, and my sister Cassandra, my baby sister. She had she was just really, really passionate. We were really protective of her. We gave her a lot of grief, but she's solid. And she's still solid to this day. So I love my sister Cassandra. She actually went on to become a cheerleading coach. And I believe her and my mom are both Hall of Fame cheerleading coaches. So the stock that we come from and the greatness that we come from is unparalleled. Then you have my little sister Erin, who's my dad's daughter. And my sister, she was my other baby sister. She's my other baby sister, but she used to live like far away, come through, and man, that was my sister. That was my sister, man. Lil Helm and Tamisha Wright, which was Sandra's sister. All family, man, and it was a beautiful thing to be able to just grow up in this big valley of love. It's just a big valley of love. Who else? So that was my first love. I mean, that was my introduction to just who I am as a person. There's more. I think the musical aspect of what really makes me thrive is music. Football, the football aspect is a whole nother aspect, and I really believe that's where my brother and I both kind of split. I was always writing, always looking for beats, always looking, to improve myself. I always wanted a studio. My environment around me even dictated the music. Late 90s, the late 90s was heavy in the drugs, heavy in the gang violence. I remember, coming outside one day, seeing my friend shot, it was nothing to walk down the street, and drug deals were like, it was open market drug dealing, terms of weapons. Open market. I remember my cousins being very, very heavy involved in the dope game. where you can come in and you can see. When we come over there, sometimes you see hundreds of thousands of dollars that we would have to count at my cousin's house. But once again, my relationship with that life was not traumatic. What it was it wasn't traumatic. It was I can actually say I had a good relationship with it. There was something good about it because it didn't present the threat. I actually saw the other side of it, and the other side of it was most of the people that were that I grew up with that were in the life had moral fibers, moral character, and would more likely stand up for the right things. Would more than likely stand up for the right things, if that makes sense. So that was one thing that we did. That was one thing that we did, and that was a heavy aspect of my upbringing. So I naturally had a epitome for people who would suffer, and epitome for people who would become victims to this to the drug game. So we my life's mission has always been to uplift the people who are in that crux part of society, the have-nots, the forgottens, and the people who are just generally misunderstood and seen as menace to society. Cool. So that was my upbringing. That's what it was. That's who I am. I remember when I was about 8 or 9 years old, and I walked past this. My mom, my brother. It was me, my mom, and my brother, and I believe we were coming from National Dollars. If you from Fillmore, back in the day, you remember what National Dollar is like. And National Dollar, we come from National Dollar. We're walking down the street. And there's a big football field. Little leaguers were out there practicing. And my mom looked and says, "Do you want to play?" And she's looking at my brother first. He said, "Yeah." Asked me, "Do I want to play?" I said, "No." I didn't want nothing to do with that. Not that I was scared. It's just I was scared. I was scared. I wasn't scared to play football. I just wasn't that outgoing. I was still a mama's boy. So my brother played, in his first year, he completely dominated. He completely dominated on the football field. He was awesome. And the next year, when mom asked me, "You want to play? You want to play too?" I'm like, "Yeah, I want to play." And that started my football career. My first year, I played tight end for the Pee Wees. We had Coach Joe Duncan, James McClure, God bless his soul, and a couple other coaches, Coach Rodney. And they really introduced us, to the fundamentals of the game. The thing that I liked about it was my upbringing, I didn't realize was as emotionally traumatic as it was. I didn't realize it. And on the football field, I was actually able to express that in sport and play. So that had a big impact on who I am. And it still has an impact on who I am in terms of the competitiveness today. I don't want to say a whole lot. I do want to say thank you to the people who took the time out to invest in us and even listen to this podcast, because over the next couple of weeks, we're going to be unfolding who is Eric Helm. We're going to be unfolding that, and hopefully we'll even put it in a book, and we're going to bring on people from each part of my life, and we're going to have big time testimonies of their experience and my experience. So until later, I'll catch you on the next podcast. Peace and love.